Search an abandoned store for supplies. You slip cautiously into the shattered doorway of a small corner store. The air is stale, heavy with the scent of rotting food and old plastic. Shelves topple in chaos, but you spot a few intact cans and a cracked backpack tucked in a corner. The faint shuffle of undead feet grows louder, something stalking the aisles nearby. Heart-pounding, you grab the nearest usable items: a half-full bottle of water, a pack of painkillers, and a rusty utility knife. Suddenly, the sound of shattering glass erupts from the front, and a gaggle of shambling figures clumsily stumbles inside. Attempt a stealthy exit through the back door. You creep toward the back of the store, every careful footstep muffled on the cracked linoleum. Outside lies a narrow alley choked with refuse and the distant groans of hungry dead. The back door creaks slightly as you push it open, just enough to slip out, and then slams with a harsh clang. The noise echoes sharply, and you catch the rise of gutturals snarling behind you. From the rear window you see a dozen undead turning their attention toward the sound. The alley is clear for now, but your exit has not gone unnoticed. You sprint down the narrow alley, the growing noise of undead footsteps crashing behind you. Trash bins wobble precariously on either side. Discarded cardboard boxes litter the ground, turning your escape into an obstacle course. The infected snarling and groaning grows louder, echoing off the brick walls that enclose you tighter and tighter. Up ahead, the alley branches, one path plunging into dark shadows, the other leading toward a faint flicker of orange streetlight. Suddenly, a rotten hand shoots out from behind a tipped-over garbage bin, grabbing your ankle. The stench of death is overwhelming. You wrench free, but the effort knocks you off balance, scraping your palms badly on the grimy pavement. Pain stings sharply now, your escape abruptly compromised. Climb up a rickety fire escape on the side of the building. Ignoring the searing pain in your scraped palms, you lunge for the fire escape ladder bolted shakily to the graffiti-streaked brick wall. The rusted metal groans alarmingly under your grip. The undead below reach and stumble, their snarls clawing at the droning night air. You haul yourself upward, rungs slipping beneath your fingers. Halfway up, a rung snaps, forcing a heart-stopping lurch before you regain your precarious hold. Above you, the fire escape leads to a broken window smeared with grime. Pulling yourself through, you collapse inside a cramped apartment, chest heaving and limbs trembling. The room is dark, thick with dust and the scent of decay. Somewhere below, the groans persist, but for the moment you're safe. Your palms burn fiercely, blood trickling from fresh scrapes. Rest briefly to stop the bleeding and catch your breath. You sink against a dusty wall, gingerly pressing your palms to slow the bleeding. The sting of raw flesh and grime soaks through your shirt. The low groans from below seem distant but unrelenting, a grim reminder that safety here is temporary. Your breath steadies, but the longer you stay exposed in this cramped space, the greater the risk of discovery. The broken window lets in a faint chill, making your skin crawl. Your mind races. Do you push onward while you still can, or try to fortify your tenuous refuge? Accept your weakened state and try to climb higher to another. Summoning what little strength you have, you push away from the wall and begin climbing the narrow, rickety staircase spiraling upward. Each step aches under your weight, and your scraped palms burn intensely with every grip on the rusted railing. As you reach the next floor, shadows stretch long, and a thick silence blankets the hallway. No immediate groans or shuffles disturb the eerie calm. The door at the end of the hall is cracked open, revealing faint flickers of candlelight inside. Could be a safe haven or a trap. Sudden faint scraping noises echo from the opposite end of the hall. Something large is moving, slow and deliberate. Your options narrow in the heavy silence. Hide in a dim alcove and observe the hallway's movements. You slip quietly into the shadows of a recessed alcove beside the stairwell, pulling your jacket tighter around your bloodied hands. The candlelight flickers weakly through the cracked door, sending hesitant shadows dancing along the hallway walls. Your pulse hammers in your ears as you fix your gaze on the opposite end where the scraps of noise came from. A bulky silhouette emerges, shuffling with an unnatural gait. Its ragged clothes hang loosely over a pale, decomposing figure. A lone zombie, slow but purposeful. It pauses, sniffing the stale air, then turns and lumbers slowly down the corridor toward the fire escape stairs. For now, the immediate threat glides past your hiding spot, leaving the hallway fearfully silent once more. Wait longer in the alcove to see if any other dangers approach. You press yourself deeper into the shadows of the alcove, every nerve on high alert as you strain to catch any sound beyond the eerie silence. Minutes stretch agonizingly, the faint flickers of candlelight wavering like a fragile heartbeat. Then a faint scratching, too deliberate, too quiet, from the far end of the hall opposite where the undead had passed. Slow but sure, several figures emerge. Ragged survivors, faces hardened by desperation and eyes sharp with suspicion. Their low voices whisper urgent plans as they scan the corridor, weapons at the ready. Your pulse quickens. This isn't just an encounter with the dead, but a clash with the living, equally dangerous in their unpredictability. You remain hidden, heart pounding, knowing that any misstep could mean instant bloodshed or betrayal. Try to signal peaceful intentions. You cautiously step from the shadows, hands raised and open to show you mean no harm. Your voice is low and steady as you call out, "I'm not here to fight, just looking for shelter." The group freezes, weapons leveling toward you instantly. A tense silence stretches, then a grim-faced woman steps forward, eyes sharp but curious. "Who are you? Why should we trust you?" Your heart pounds as you realize the precariousness of your situation. One wrong word, one suspicious move, and this encounter could end in violence or worse. Promise not to interfere and ask to join their group. The woman narrows her eyes but seems to consider your offer. "Safety in numbers, but we don't take just anyone," she warns, motioning for the others to lower their weapons slightly. "I promise not to interfere," you say firmly. "I just want a chance to survive like you." After a long moment, she nods reluctantly. "Fine. Follow us. But one wrong move and you're out, no second chances." As you fall in step behind the ragged group, the uncertain glow of hope flickers inside you. Still, the weight of their suspicion hangs heavy, reminding you that trust here is as fragile as the night itself. Strike a conversation to build rapport and learn their plan. You fall into step beside the woman who led the group, easing your voice into a calm tone. "What's your plan? Where are you headed?" She glances at you, eyes flickering with a mix of tired caution and resolve. "We're trying to make it to the old subway station. They say it's been cleared of the infected. A chance to regroup, maybe find some real supplies and safer shelter." Her words carry a faint but flickering hope. You catch the wary faces of the others, some nodding silently, others scanning the shadows incessantly. The city outside feels more hostile than ever, the undead in desperation coiling together in a deadly dance. But the station is miles away through winding streets and broken avenues. Every step will test your nerves and your luck. Keep silent and observe their group dynamics closely. You fall into the role of the silent observer, letting the group set the pace. The woman who leads is clearly the de facto leader, disciplined and watchful, issuing curt commands that the others follow without question. A younger man with a twitchy demeanor keeps close to her side, eyes darting nervously at every sound. An older survivor, silent and weathered, lags just behind, clutching a battered baseball bat like a lifeline. Tension hums beneath the group's surface, strained alliances, whispered grievances, and unspoken fears. Occasionally, sharp glances are exchanged, hinting at fragile trust and unresolved conflicts. Every moment you spend watching, you realize how thin their unity is, and how easily it could crumble under pressure. Ahead, the city's shadows twist and lengthen as night encroaches. The subway station's rumored safety seems a distant beacon, if it even exists anymore. Suddenly, a sudden sharp scream slices through the night air. A sound unnervingly human, desperate, and close. Separate yourself slightly to scout quietly while you slip quietly away from the main group, pressing yourself against the crumbling brick walls as you move toward the source of the scream. Every step is measured, every breath shallow, your knife gripped tightly but hidden against your side. The city hums with distant groans, but the scream echoes closer, raw and urgent. Peering around the corner, you see a young woman trapped beneath a fallen wooden beam. Tears streaked across her dirt-smudged face. 3 zombies shuffle toward her from the opposite end of the street, their snarls growing louder. The woman's eyes lock onto yours, hope and terror mingling in a painful plea. Rush forward to try and lift the beam and rescue. You push fear aside and sprint toward the trapped woman, heart hammering in your chest. The heavy wooden beam presses cruelly against her leg, but adrenaline fuels your muscles. As the zombies shuffle closer, you grasp the beam's edge and heave with all your might. The wood doesn't budge at first, then suddenly shifts with a groan, just enough for her to slip free. You pull her up, dragging her away from the encroaching undead. The creatures snap and lunge, their decaying hands scraping the pavement inches from your heels. But your rescue has bought precious seconds. Shout for the group to come help fend off the attackers. You shout sharply, your voice slicing through the tense night air. Help! Zombies coming! The shout rips through the silence, and moments later the ragged group bursts from the alley behind you, weapons drawn with frantic urgency. The older man swings his battered baseball bat with a bone-crushing crack, scattering one undead into a spray of rotten entrails. The twitchy younger survivor pulls a jagged pipe from his pack, slashing fiercely at the nearest creature. The combined efforts momentarily push back the snarling horde, but the fight is far from over. Your knuckles whiten around your rusty knife as you prepare for the next wave. Suddenly, one zombie lunges toward the girl, teeth snapping wide. Rush to flank the lunging zombie from the side and surprise it. You lunge to the side just as the zombie's grotesque jaws snap shut where the girl had been moments ago. Heart pounding, you swing your rusty knife wide, aiming for the soft flesh of its neck. The knife scrapes bone and tears rotten sinew as the creature snarls in surprise and pain, staggering back. The group rallies quickly, following your lead with renewed ferocity. The twitchy survivor lands a heavy blow to another zombie's skull with his pipe, while the older man backs you up, swinging the bat with brutal precision. Blood, death, and desperation swirl in the confined street. The girl clutches your arm, eyes wide with fear and awe, but reinforcements seem to be closing in. More groans ripple from the shadows. Call out a retreat, dragging the girl and group to a safe. Fall back. Move! You shout, grabbing the girl's arm and pulling her toward the narrower side alley visible just beyond the chaos. The group follows, breathing ragged and weapons poised for desperate defense. The undead horde groans and lunges, but the tighter alley slows them, turning their clumsy charge into a sluggish crawl. Brick walls press in on both sides and debris litters the ground, forcing the zombie mob into a bottleneck. You glance down at the girl, her legs still tender from the beam, but her eyes burn with a fierce desire to survive. Your own wounds throb angrily. Adrenaline is wearing thin. Ahead, a shadowed doorway looms, an uncertain refuge or another trap. Calm the group and formulate a defensive plan before moving. You hold up a hand, signaling the group to pause and catch their breath in the cramped alley. Listen up, you say, voice steady though your limbs tremble. We can't just rush in blind. The zombies out there will keep coming. We need a plan. The ragged survivors exchange wary glances but nod, willing to follow your lead for now. You quickly outline a basic defense. The older man will hold the rear with his bat, blocking the narrow alley entrance. The twitchy younger survivor will help you barricade the entrance with loose debris. The leader will watch the front for threats, and the girl will stay protected in the middle. The group scrambles to execute the plan as the groans beyond grow louder, the undead clawing and pounding at their slim barrier. Every second counts. Scout for an alternate. Pressing yourself against the alley wall, you quietly edge forward, scanning for any side doors, vents, or narrow gaps that might offer a secondary escape route. The walls here are cracked and covered with peeling paint, but your keen eyes catch a faint glimmer of a fire escape ladder just above a rusted metal door, partially ajar. Could be a way out if you dare to risk it. Behind you, the group's frantic noises around the barricade remind you time is running out. The pounding from the relentless undead claws grows deafening. Attempt to slip through the metal door alone to. You carefully push the rusted metal door wider, its creak barely muffled by the distant groans beyond. The stale, claustrophobic space beyond is pitch black, and the smell of mildew and decay grips at your throat. Steeling yourself, you slip inside, the door groaning shut softly behind. The narrow stairwell inside twists upward but is rickety and slick with grime. Your injured leg protests with each step, and the bandages soaked with blood cling uncomfortably to your skin. Every creak echoes ominously in the confined space. Suddenly, a horrific wet thud from above shakes the stairs. Something is up there, moving. You must decide fast. Prepare your knife and brace yourself for immediate combat on the stairs. Your breath catches as the wet thud repeats, closer this time. You grip your rusty knife tightly, muscles coiled to react instantly. The narrow stairwell leaves little room to maneuver. This will be a brutal close-quarters fight. A grotesquely deformed zombie lumbers into the faint light above, flesh hanging in ragged strips, eyes wild and unblinking. Its putrid breath washes over you before it lunges, claws outstretched. Your survival hangs by a thread as you meet its attack, every movement a desperate gamble against overwhelming decay and hunger. Hold your ground and aim for a precise strike to. You steel yourself, refusing to give ground on the cramped staircase. As the zombie lunges, you twist your body, propelling your knife forward with desperate precision toward its temple, one of the few vulnerable spots left in its decaying skull. The blade sinks in with a sickening crunch. The creature snarls one last time before its rigid body collapses, sliding down the stairs with a wet thud. Your heart slams in your chest as you absorb the fleeting victory. But the narrow stairwell offers no sanctuary. More groans echo faintly from below, warning you that danger is never far behind. You know the group waits anxiously in the alley below, vulnerable without your guidance. Barricade the door behind you to slow. You shove your weight against the metal door, dragging a fallen piece of broken stair railing across the threshold. It scrapes loudly against concrete, an agonizing risk, but you manage to wedge it tight enough to hamper any immediate pursuit. For a heartbeat, the silence is absolute, broken only by your ragged breathing and the distant groans snooping below. The barricade buys precious moments but won't hold for long. Your injured leg throbs fiercely, demanding urgent attention even as the press of time weighs down on you. Prepare for a potential second wave of the undead approaching the door. Your muscles tense as you crouch low by the barricaded door, knife gripped tightly in one hand, every nerve screaming alert. The groans outside grow louder, ragged claws scraping futilely against the blockade you fashioned. The relentless hunger of the undead pulses through the air like a malevolent heartbeat. Your injured leg burns with fresh pain, but there's no time to tend to it now. Survival demands you stay sharp, prepared for whatever force might break through, or the horrifying realization that this could be your last stand. A sudden shudder shakes the door. Would splinters fly where claws tear desperately? Call out to the group below, warning them to retreat immediately. Call out to the group below, warning them to retreat immediately. The barricade shatters under a relentless onslaught. Rotting hands claw through the splintered wood as a grisly tide of undead spills into the stairwell. You shout the warning again, voice cracking with desperation. Retreat! Now! But too late. The first claw rakes across your torso, cold and merciless, tearing through skin and sinew. Pain explodes as teeth clamp down on your shoulder. You swing your knife wildly, but the creatures overwhelm you in a tide of rot and rage. Your vision dims, sounds warp and fade. The last echo in your mind is the frantic retreat of your companions, their fate sealed by your delay. The city swallows you whole. Game over. Game over. Would you like to accept this end and close the story? The relentless horde engulfs you in a final brutal embrace. Darkness and decay close your eyes as the city claims its victory once more. Your desperate stand gave others a sliver of hope, but for you the night has come to an end. Thank you for playing the desperate, harrowing tale of survival in the twilight of civilization. May your next journey hold more light. End of story.